Hello and welcome to the last game of StarLadder Season 6 of day number 17. And I do mean the last game of today, because tomorrow we actually have 7 games to go through. But this is the last game of today. It is KP taking on DD Dota, and with me are 2 people. That's right, 2. But you will only hear one, which is my co-caster Kanaz, and my third person there, sorry Kanaz, before you can say something, I will also introduce K-poptosis, who is going to be providing you with stats today. And of course, KP versus DD, and for all the fans, no Arteezy, which is basically known for all the StarLadder series games that KP plays. They normally cannot use Arteezy due to the fact that he is still in high school, and he is at this moment still at school because he is from the other side of the ocean. But they do have a stand-in. And they have got Sing Sing this time. So let's see how that's gonna go. Kanaz, what are your thoughts?
On everything or on Sing Sing being the stand-in?
Both.
Alright, well, I mean, I'm happy to see Sing Sing playing again. I think a lot of people like watching Sing Sing play.
Yeah.
It's hard to say whether or not he's going to play better than Arteezy would, just because Arteezy's been playing with KP for a while now. But Garter, I haven't seen him play anything but Magnus, and his play has never been like super impressive to me. So maybe Sing Sing gets to play something a little bit different in this game, or maybe they just pick him Magnus.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We have seen Garter playing basically only Magnus, I think.
It's the only thing I've seen.
We are gonna see another game with Goblack, Stray, and Protector though, and as we saw in the previous game, there is a 70% win rate for Goblack for that one. I remember these stats. It's nice. I can throw them out in other games as well, making K-poptosis almost useless. Ooh, nah, that's not true. We have a Wisp banned out, as well as a Lone Druid, Darkseer, and a Lifestealer as well, leaving a Bedrider in the pool. And that was the first pickup that DD was able to do. And with KP picking up a Keeper of the Light and a Bane, not really those core heroes that you would expect, DD was able to pick up and a Gyrocopter and a Treant Protector, but KP already knew what they want to have, and they have got this tri-lane, and they have got this carry. And we know that they like to draw out games to try and bait out enemy mistakes. And they pick up a Phantom Lancer to complement that. Yay. I'm excited. Do you hear me being excited?
You
sound
sound really excited about this Keeper of Light Phantom Lancer lane. It seems exciting. I'm pretty excited about watching Phantom Lancer farm.
I could tell.
He's an exciting hero.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure all the viewers will be really excited as well.
Yeah. And are now like shouting how exciting they are. I bet. Has to be. Well, I have to say, if there's one thing that can stop a game from being long, it is a Treant Protector. Because we have seen Treant, one of the first times that I actually saw Goblack picking up a Treant Protector after he got buffed, that is. Was with Empire, obviously. They went for a very, very scary lineup, and they just got their items, and even though with Gyrocopter that might be a bit more tricky, but they got their core items, and they just started 5-manning, and they were able to roll over their opponent very fast. And if they are able to maybe shut down Eternal Envy a bit on his Phantom Lancer, and they are also able to just get their items up on the Gyro, they can do that again and not be too afraid of the Phantom Lancer split pushing them to too much trouble. But we'll see what they pick up with that, as we have got bans with the Queen of Pain ban out for KP, so mid hero. Well, even though Bedrider can of course be playing that mid, and Funzy is actually, or Bedrider is one of his signature heroes, as well as OD actually, so maybe they're not expecting a Funzy bad, because Queen of Pain, OD also heroes that Funzy loves to play. But yeah, they're not expecting Bedrider to play mid lane, they're probably expecting him in the jungle. And Nyx Assassin and Nature's Prophet banned out as well.
Yeah, covering pans pretty thoroughly here. We're waiting. I don't know what they're going to want mid lane. It is Sing Sing currently, who you expect to play the mid lane. He's replacing Arteezy as a stand-in, and that's usually what Sing Sing plays, so it makes a lot of sense. He has a lot of heroes he can play, and there are plenty that will work out. They usually want something that has some mid-game presence, as KP like to sort of turtle and do the 4 protect 1 sort of strategy, so they need someone who has some good team fight if they're going to be doing that sort of thing, while they're trying to draw attention away from Eternal Envy farming on the Phantom Lancer. Kunkka comes to mind as a hero that we see a lot of lately in the mid lane and can sort of fill that role. Has some good team fight. We see him almost always played in the mid, and Sing Sing, it's a hero that he likes.
Yep.
So if they're thinking that route, Magnus, of course, still in the pool. So if they wanted to just go for the team fight Magnus, they certainly can. Hasn't been really feeling like it's been working for KP in the games I've been watching.
Well, one of
Maybe
the
just
things
teams
that
getting away.
Yeah, one of the things that I notice when I see KP playing, and I saw it most clearly, well, it was a while ago, when Eternal was playing an Alchemist, he was doing amazingly well, and he was farming like really, really hard, but in the meantime, the rest of his team was losing hard. And so at the end of the game, they had one gigantically fat Alchemist with 4 very squishy supports, while on the other team, the entire team was just team fighting constantly, and everybody got farm and everybody got gold and levels, and they were still, I mean, they were a bit lower than the Alchemist, granted, but 5 of those all strong heroes, mediocre strongish heroes, up against one really fat Alchemist and 4 squishies, that's not working out. And KP has been trying to find the balance between that, I feel. Maybe with this Phantom Lancer they can find the balance a bit more easy, as of course we know that Phantom Lancer Keeper of Light combination, regardless of what secondary hero comes with that, can be very aggressive early on as well if they want to. We have got a Kunkka pickup, but it's not on the side that you were expecting it. I was actually, like, for a second there, you know, I was changing a title up on Twitch, so I was not entirely listening to you. I know, bad for me. So I was listening to you after a couple of sentences, and I heard you say Kunkka, and it's like, and I don't know, my brain made the connection that you were aiming for DD for Kunkka, and I thought like, no, they never play Kunkka. But then you said Sing Sing, and it's like, oh, then it all makes sense. But I'm still, they never play Kunkka, do they?
I don't remember ever seeing them pick it up, but it is like sort of the new big thing to run him in the mid lane. So that just could be why they're doing it. It's certainly a powerful hero. I'm sure that the players are familiar. Like, there's no way Funzy hasn't played Kunkka before. So.
Hey Magnus. Well, Sing Sing gets to play that one probably. And of course, I mean, the Shadow Demon is still in the pool. Not banned, not picked. Even if there is a Bane there, they rather wanted to have the Bane rather than the Shadow Demon. And we already have got all the lanes complete, so you could put Kunkka and the Shadow Demon in the mid lane, the Gyrocopter in the off lane, and the Bat Rider in the off lane, and Gyrocopter, Nature's Prof, or Train Protector, also Nature thingy, in the safe lane. I mean, that possibility is still there if they want to run 2 dual lanes.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, they can do that. I'm not sure if they want to necessarily.
No, they're taking their time at least.
Yeah, they're thinking about it. They're kind of low. They have a bit of reserve time with like a minute, so they'll sit and think about it. It's hard to say what they're going to want to run at this point. They have options for what they can pick up. Like if they want to grab Shadow Demon and run the double duels, it's certainly an option. The Treant Protector Gyrocopter lane's kind of awkward. This is why I think maybe they wouldn't favor that so much. But Rubik they're going to last pick up, so it looks like it's more traditional trialing with that pick.
Yeah, and of course Rubik also there to steal the RPs from Magnus if he can, and be able to just turn those around against KP. As KP, they've got their tri lane, they've got their solo lane, could be solo off lane still, even though we don't normally see that anymore. Could be their solo mid lane, which is more expected, and then they need one more hero to pick up. We still have a Clockwork in the pool. A lot of offlane heroes actually are still in the pool.
5 seconds remaining.
The question is, which one do you want? And right now they don't really have one of those heroes that is really good against the living armor, and Clockwork would be indeed the hero that has that, because of course the battery assault can just take those charges off.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's okay. It's definitely a pretty good way of doing it. It's better than nothing, certainly, but it's also not the ideal. And Statsman is confirming here that DD has not played a professional game with Kunkka on their team. So this will be the first time we're seeing. It's probably it's Funzy. So we'll get to see a Funzy Kunkka, see what he's able to do with it, and it looks like he'll probably be going against Sing Sing in the mid lane on Magnus.
I like that, seeing Funzy on a Kunkka, and first time for everything. First time for Funzy, probably not on Kunkka obviously, but in a competitive match. We'll see how that goes. Of course, Kunkka, a hero that really likes to dive, can be aggressive early on if he has a support. Actually, I think he's gonna be alone, so in that case, not really that much. But of course, you have got a Godlike living armor will be there to just in case help out there. And we are seeing Sing Sing playing the Magnus in this mid lane for KP. Bone 7 will be on the solo lane, but will be on the safe lane. So we're gonna see an aggressive trailing coming off from KP. It is Eternal Envy, the tree chopper, who was already knowing that he was gonna let Goblik go through with his Train Protector probably. Playing the Phantom Lancer, and Pylai on his signature, Keeper of the Light, and the last one is Come With Me on the Bane for KP on the Dire side for this game. Yeah, two totally different teams. DD has changed a lot as well as KP has. So yeah, these two teams in these standings have never faced off before. And I'll leave DD to be introduced by you.
Sure, so we're going to have DD on the Radiant side. Their trialing going to be composed of Goblik on the Train Protector, Silent playing the Gyrocopter, and finally fucking Mad on the Rubik. Mid lane, that's going to be Funzy playing the Kunkka, and finally their off lane will be Sakshka on the Batrider.
Yep, the Batrider with a collar, because he's got a nice skin for that one. He actually saved himself some gold. Quite interesting to see that kind of build from a Batrider that will... Well, actually, I'm kind of... While they still can, they are going to be having the courier hanging around here. Maybe he's going to scout out Actually, this is a this is KP courier. He's gonna block the jungle creeps. Oh, they're gonna go for this. Silent is in trouble. Illuminate flies through too. Silent did not see the courier there. Did he the tree away there? Of course, KP has been doing this for a while now, and it won't be possible anymore after the next patch. But while it's still possible, they'll use the courier to block creep spawns from happening.
Yeah, and KP, I guess like notorious team for doing this. It's like a targeted ban or a bug fix at KP to make the couriers not block camps.
Wow.
Highlight die.
Highlight die. Up on the high ground. Stuck there for a while, and he spent his gold to buy a flying courier for his team. And lucky for him, there is actually a flying courier, because of course otherwise there wouldn't have been a scroll of teleportation being brought to him. But he needs to wait until he actually has the gold, unless someone is going to be really gentle and pick a courier up for that. But the ward up on the high ground on the other side means that fucking Matt can just hit Pylai Die for as hard as long as he wants, and exchanging blows right now for Pylai Die not really in his favor. Illuminate will still be through. Fucking Matt not able to dodge that. Living armor. Oh, those misses! Oh, and there comes the indeed very nicely done Enfeeble. Picked it up as the first one. Are there not more ranged heroes? Where's the... Oh. We actually have the Batrider facing top. He didn't even go inside the jungle. But Pylai Die... He's keeping two supports busy. That's already nice for fucking Matt to do, actually. And wasting
he's
some mana.
wasting their time. And now we're going to get to TP finally. So it's a bunch of gold wasted and time. And Pylai Die had to port all the way back to base because he used pretty much all of his mana and was low in HP. So a lot of time wasted by that Rubik there. And that's advantage for DD.
Yep, very much so. In the meantime, in the mid lane we have got a 6-3 Funzy sitting on his Kunkka. That will be not getting Sing Sing in his Torrent. It is a 6-2 Magnus in the mid lane, so very even in this mid lane. And I think like neither really has major killing potential over the other until we reach like level 6 and you've got boats and RPs and such coming from both sides. But until then, both should be okay. Not really dying and fairly safe in the lane, as we see Funzy having the haste rune. That will be nice for him, as he just doesn't have to bottle Crow, as he can't really do that as effectively, even though he does now have a flying courier. Never mind, he didn't have it before, but will have it now. The aggressive trialing for KP though hasn't been able to be that aggressive since the two supports were busy at the river. So Silent getting himself some solid farm. He is 10-4 right now, and only now is he up against that top lane. Envy's still able to pick up 8 for 1 last hits though. Quite nice to be able to do that without your supports around. Yeah,
he's doing a decent job of last inning. It's pretty strange, honestly, to see the Phantom Lancer aggressive tri-lane. You can kind of do it with Keeper Light just because this Spirit Lance spam is pretty powerful, but usually you don't see him in this aggressive tri-lane just because he wants the farm. Yeah, as we see Silent getting an Enfeeble, so only his spells really do a bit of damage. They tried to go for the telekinesis into the Rocket Barrage. Couldn't really get the timing properly, or at least Silent wasn't really in range in time for that Rocket Barrage to really hit upon the Keeper of the Light. But that was only a glimpse of what DD can actually do to counter-initiate up on KP right now. And of course, I mean, that spam that you were talking about is amazingly effective if you have that Keeper of the Light at level 2, which he is not, by the way, but when he is, there will be a lot of spam. But on the same side, I mean, you can spam out those lances,
but the targets that you lance will be healed up by the Treant Protector. So a bit counter-effective for KP, and will make their strong lane, which of course it is considered to be, indeed Keeper of the Light, Phantom Lance, a very strong lane. Goblet kind of reducing that strength, as we do have Shocksky in a lot of trouble here. Getting chased down by Bone 7. Here comes the Living Armor though, and Bone might actually be putting himself a bit in trouble with that, but the Living Armor is already dead. Bone getting forced away from his own tower, and will pop a salve to try and get away from this Bone. One hit. Can he get two more? One more needed to get the kill, and he should be able to get this kill. And the first blood goes to the Clockwork, takes 2 tower hits, as a thank you gets away on 30 HP though. A very clutch play. In the meantime, on the bottom lane, the Gyrocopter went down to the Bane. He was the only one really that far out. He does take home almost 2 kills, and I say almost 1 kill rather, almost the Bane, but his supports were nowhere to be found.
Yeah, he dove past the tower to kill up Eternal Envy, and then just ends up dying to the Bane. They tried to give him the Living Armor, but yeah, he gets the kill on Eternal Envy, and that slows down his farm. And Phantom Lancer, he needs a lot more farm than Gyrocopter typically.
Yeah, it's apparently a 43% win rate for Eternal Envy as his most late carry. Quite surprising that it's then not above 50, you would think, but let's see how they can maybe improve that this game. And yeah, Eternal Envy did die, so I guess maybe slightly worth losing your carry for, but of course it wasn't the first blood, and that would make it worth it for sure. But not getting the first blood kind of puts Silent at a bit of or kind of puts him a bit back.
Yeah, it was literally less than a second after the first blood, so I think he thought he was going to get first blood, and that's why he went for it. And then that unfortunate kill in the top lane for Batrider, just barely edging him out.
And Bone showing that he is level 6 with that kill that he got, which is a very early level 6. Misses the hook shot though, so doesn't get the surprise advantage off of that, or at least he went for it, but he failed that. So in the end doesn't get the advantage, and he well, actually Eternal Envy TPs towards the top lane to get some farm there, leaving Clockwork at bottom. Might see the supports rotating top as well, or at least one of them, as we already have got the Bane smoked up, looking for maybe to do something in this mid lane. Funzy will be the target. He has got a boat though, just to get himself that extra buff. The Rum, the telekinesis there up and come with me, because also a support from DD coming in. The Torrent will miss. The RP will actually hit. The Living Armor keeps fucking Mad alive though. One more hit needed. He doesn't get it, but it is Come With Me that still ends up getting it. So a kill goes the way of KP. RP of course being used for that, but that's a worthy kill. Worthy rotation, even if only for support. Getting that mid lane advantage over Funzy.
Yeah, it's a good kill to get there. They take down the Rubik, but they still slow Funzy down a little bit. And as a result, it's just a kill to get in KP. If they get kills, it's good for them. So
in the meantime, fucking Matt has rotated top after getting back alive. There
Bottom
is
lane.
a lasso. Oh, okay, we are gonna see a hook. Well, rather, there was a hook, but it was not the hook that he wanted. He did get the hook this time, but he also got himself stuck inside his own cogs with the cooldown coming there. In the meantime, we're seeing that Eternal Envy gets away on 13 HP. Because there was no extra damage coming through from the fire. Nice double walk there. The sentry ward was on the other side. And Envy will be getting away with his life. Will therefore have to walk all the way back to base and then TP back towards the tower. Losing a lot of golden experience as he goes.
yeah, and he actually popped a wand for that, so he would have died if not for his magic wand right there. Eternal Envy having a little bit of trouble this game, really just not getting the farm he wants, and that's not what you want to be doing with your KP. You don't want to see that you picked a really hard carry and that he's not doing anything.
Oh, in the meantime, DD, they are not... Well, they try to be aggressive just now with the lasso, but other than that, they've only been counter-aggressive and only been replying to what KP has basically been doing. And when that changes, so when that Batrider has his Blink Dagger, for example, I feel like KP will be put under a lot of extra pressure, and right now they do not look to be in a state that they can actually contest that pressure, apart from if an RP hits on a lot of people at the same time, obviously. Which is, you know, no pressure. Sing Sing on his Magnus, of course, in this game. Oh, Funzy going for the rune. Didn't realize that Sing Sing already picked up the Invis rune, and he might actually get a kill. He RPs and he kills. No wards will do that to you. DD not having the vision there and no living armor to help out either, as the tree was not gonna be in time. Bone 7 might be in a bit of trouble, but the flame break doesn't put Bone 7 closer towards Shockska on his Batrider.
Yeah, it's the thing you have to be aware of when you're trying to contest Rune. If you're at low HP and you don't have any sight, it's very dangerous for you to walk there, especially if you're not like there waiting for it. If someone else just happens to get the rune before you, you can very easily die, especially once ultimates start to come into play. And Fuzzy just gets caught out, so gives a kill to Sing Sing in the mid lane, helps him along even further on the Magnus, and he's actually currently leading in net worth.
Yeah, he's been in 2 kills so far, of course both in the mid lane. 1 assist, 1 last hit. He's building towards his Blink Dagger, most likely already has got his Tranquil Boots, or Tranquil Boots rather, Mana Boots, so arcane ones. And he's only about 1k and a bit away from his Blink Dagger, and with that he'll be able to make such a big splash, just as big as a Bat Rider with a Blink Dagger boot, though it looks like Shokska will have his Blink Dagger before Sing Sing will. And then the question is, can they shut down Sing Sing before he has his Blink Dagger? Maybe kill him off once or twice, just to slow that Blink down, just to slow KP down, because if KP gets the mid game under control, they'll create enough space for Eternal Envy to farm up his Phantom Lancer, and that's not where you want to be right now. Even if you have a gyro there. Oh.
Sing Sing is 0-5 all time, I think. Poor Sing Sing.
No pressure.
He's doing well this game though, and the real thing is you have to look at EE and what he's doing. He's behind on last hits, sure, but if they get a little bit of an advantage and they're able to create space for him, it's not going to really matter that his farm in the first 10 minutes of the game wasn't ideal. He's not completely shut down. He's got 32 last hits in 10 minutes, which is, you know, poor but not dead.
Yep.
So if he can continue...
Oh, mid lane,
just
wait a
trying to get
second.
something-
Fiend Script there, but the Telekinesis is there to try and help out Funzy. Living Armor there as well. The RP cancelled because he realized that he wouldn't be able to get that kill. Torrent misses. 3 heroes for KP in the mid lane up against 3/4 here for DD. Illuminate still catches Funzy out, but he should be okay. He has got still 2 bottle charges. And that is, by the way, a Blink Dagger up on the Bat Rider.
Yeah, so pretty fast blink, but he was out farming in the top lane, doing a good job of it, so not surprising. He's leading on last hits, and I think he spent some time in the jungle. I was watching closely, but he wasn't up the top for a while, so I expect that's where he was.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so he's got quite a bit of farm. That's pretty much what you would expect from Sakshka in this Bat Rider right now. And that puts him in a pretty good spot. Let's see if they go on Funzy in this mid lane. They put him to
Here
sleep.
comes once again fucking Matt trying to help out. Funzy still in a lot of trouble though. Living Armor is gonna be there. The Skewer's there. The RP from the low ground to the high ground gets the kill in the end. And it is Sing Sing that gets away with the life. Fate Bolt not doing the damage that fucking Matt probably would have wanted it to do. And another kill going the way of KP. More importantly, another kill towards building that Blink Dagger. Just about 400 and a bit needed to get it.
Yeah, he's getting closer and closer, and Sing Sing doing a pretty good job. He had to use the RP there if he wanted to secure that kill. Like, maybe it's less than ideal, but it's worth it to just finish the job. And Bone 7 in trouble in the top lane.
Yeah, they look to be going on this. Illuminate will fly through soon to try and help out kill off Silent. Cooldown comes down though and is able to pick up Bone 7. Silent looking for a kill upon Pylai Die. One more hit will do the job. Cannot find it though. Nice juking from Pylai Die. Oh, 1 hit needed. Oh, Pylai Die gets away with his life while Silent is the one to take the fall. And in the end, I mean, picking up the Gyrocopter for a support Clockwork, offlane Clockwork, is a pretty solid trade for KP.
Yeah, that was very well played by Pylai Die. That juke completely destroyed the gyrocopter. Pulled the creep wave into him. Pylai Die got away, and then like Gyro was caught.
Oh, they want to go for Envy again. Here comes the boat. They don't see him though. They this time don't have the sentry standing around, and they actually back off. They didn't have a last 2 anymore either. And then the dust was on cooldown, from the looks of it. So this is the second time they've tried to go for a gank upon Envy, and they've not been able to get it.
Yeah, ever since he's come to this top lane, he just hasn't been getting killed. I don't really know why they didn't have reveal if they're gonna try and get a kill on the Phantom Lancer. It seems just a little silly.
But
I guess
they
there's
had dust, but they
it
used
was
it
on
once,
cooldown,
and then
yeah.
when they went again, it was still on cooldown.
Right, I see that now. So they only had the 1 set of dust, and then they tried to re-engage on Envy, I guess. So it's a little just time wasted if they knew they didn't have the dust off cooldown yet.
Yeah, we saw Funzy and fucking Matt trying to go for a smoke to go mid, but on the high ground there was Devane, come with me, scouting it out, so he popped the smoke, and he made sure that it wasn't possible anymore, as we see Sing Sing starting to position himself for maybe a great RP, but that would only happen if there were actually people mid, and right now there's nobody mid. Funzy even farming right now in the jungle to try and get some extra items up, because he doesn't really have anything just yet. apart from his boots and his bottle, obviously. In the meantime, Godblack, he's level 8. He's got 1400 gold, probably going for a fast mechanism if he can get that, which he should be able to, actually. He has not really been contested in the jungle. He has just been jungling, living armor, jungling, living armor, you know.
Yes, he's just sitting in the jungle farming, which is fine. That's all he needs to be doing here. He's putting living armor on his allies from the jungle, and that's like the most relevant he can really be on the map anyways.
And not die, which he is not doing, so that's all fine. He hasn't died yet. He hasn't been involved in any fights by means of being actually involved in fights with his hero itself. 000 is the call, as we do now have the blink up on Sing Sing, and the courier will bring it towards him. We have a drawing on the minimap coming from Come With Me. Realizing that Silent is probably somewhere in the jungle, and they kind of need to also slow him down, because if Silent can get his farm up still fast, then he should be able to be a big menace for Eternal Envy, and that's not something that you want to have happen. So we're probably gonna see KP trying to force out some fights now that they have that blink dagger, and we have them actually smoking up.
Yeah, they're blocking the Ancients too. Come With Me just went up there and dropped a ward in it. Maybe just expecting someone to be stacking for the gyrocopter, going to try and counter that right off the bat. No one was actually working on it though, so we'll see if it ends up being useful or not.
And we do have, of course, Gyrocopter picking up a Helm of the Dominator right now, so with the creep he would be able to do that around this time. So I guess the timing is pretty nice for KP, as we have got DD looking for something top, perhaps. Gonna be having help also from fucking Matt, who's walking towards that top lane. Come With Me though, he has a Fiend script, and I don't think he's gonna be afraid to use it. Has got a ward up the high ground. Kinda curious to see how much it actually sees. But it sees a bit behind the tower. That's actually quite nice of him. That's really nice. He's fucking mad walking there. An extra bit of vision that you get there. There we go. Back to the normal vision.
Yeah, and it sees that one like line right over the tower between the two trees. It's a really interesting ward spot. But it sees the rotation from fucking Mad, and that's all it needs to do.
Yeah, and they back off because of it also. Fucking Mad, he went for the Dog Troll Summoner, trying to stop the pool from happening, even though the pool wouldn't be really that much of an issue regardless. He does reveal that he's actually there. We'll be going back there actually as well, but there's nobody there to actually take him down, so it doesn't really matter. As Silent is still trying to farm bit bottom. He is ahead of net worth of everybody though, and it is not Eternal Envy that is highest for KP. It is actually the Magnus. Eternal Envy is sitting below Magnus, below Gyrocopter, below Batrider, and below Kunkka, and that is probably not somewhere where he wants to be. The thing is, he is getting levels, and he is getting to that point where he can farm very fast in the jungle with his illusions helping out, but he's been slowed down, probably to DD's satisfaction.
Yeah, they're slowing him down significantly. He's starting to creep a little bit closer. He was pretty far behind at one point, but he's still not having a great time of farming, and they've been keeping the pressure up in that top lane. So kind of looking for KP to try and make something happen elsewhere on the map, especially with this Blink Dagger on the Magnus, but they haven't really done much yet. So they might just be hoping that they can get some items up on those other heroes while DD are sort of focusing on Eternal Envy, trying to shut him down, and then have just a little bit of an advantage to take a big team fight.
Yeah, I love this, by the way, in terms of like DD, they smoked up. They smoked up right on the reward of the Dire team, then pretended to walk top. We saw the line being drawn by KP. You realize, you know, they're going top, and since you can't see them anymore, you have to just assume that's where they went. But they actually went bottom instead after turning around, and they blink, and they find Bone 7, who was still unaware that they were actually coming towards that bottom lane, and they take the kill. I like it. DD didn't know that it was warded, by the way. That's just the way that they moved. Just precautions, perhaps. So take the tower with it, so that will be a successful smoke. They will also lose their own tier 1 tower by the looks of it, though. No fortification left here on the Radiant side, and actually they want to defend this. It's gonna be too late for the tower, and I don't think that KP is gonna be unwelcoming to this fight. The Fiend Script is already up. Funzy is actually already down. That's a Kunkka out of play. DD running for their lives. The TP is being wasted. They still got the tower bottom on the Dire side, but wow, that was a very, very quick kill on the Kunkka.
Yeah, they can't port into that tower and then immediately try to back off when they're in initiation range. They just get caught by Fiend's Grip, and everyone was already in the midst of running. And they can't really recommit at that point either. If they try and charge forward as a team to try and save their Kunkka, they end up getting RP'd.
Did you see Godblack? He thought that there was a ward like the normal crazy spot that you normally see inside the jungle. So
Oh,
he
yeah.
started to eat his way through trees, but then realized it was just in the normal place, or in a normal place where you can actually see it. So used 2 sentries for that. Did end up getting the ward obviously, but it was kind of funny. He is building still towards his mechanism. Just needs about 120 gold, 220 gold rather. 120 gold. What? 180 gold. There we go. Fixed. So yeah, smoke up for DD. Funzy and fucking mad. Funzy hasn't really been able to do that much in this game. Maybe with the Shadow Blade that he's been building, we'll be able to do more. Blink in RP. He didn't realize there was more though. X marks the spot. Up on Sing Sing as he already taking Goblek out of the equation. Fiend Script was stolen by fucking mad, but interrupted by Come With Me. Thou shall not use my own spell against my own team. And there goes the Enfeeble, making sure that Silent is also harmless in the next fight to come, if it would go to a fight, which of course it doesn't, because KP, or rather DD, doesn't want to fight when there is an Enfeeble up on their main damage dealer. But nice play once again by KP, able to pick up the Treant Protector.
Yeah, probably they would hurt a couple other people.
Lincoln Lasso, they go for the Magnus. Can they get it? Torrent coming down, that's already Silent getting the kill. Bone coming in, he has got that hookshot, might try to counter initiate, but without the Magnus and without the RP, even though it would be on cooldown anyway, might not be something that they really want to be doing there. 4 heroes of the AD hanging around here in this mid lane, and now also Goblak is back. His mechanism being delayed, by the way, by that kill by quite a bit. And he'll try to stop Envy from split pushing here on the top lane.
Yeah, and Eternal Envy has a Yasha and some treads at this point, so getting a little bit more money, but still pretty far behind. He's only like 30 last hits behind Gyrocopter at this point, which is not all that many, considering how much harder of a time he had early game. So starting to get closer and closer, still behind on net worth by quite a bit, but clawing his way back up there.
Yeah, we have the 4 stuff up on Jolene. I mean, DD, they're definitely not out of this game yet. Even though, well, actually with the Shadow Blade, Kunkka might be able to do something more than he has done so far. I mean, he's only been involved in 1 of the 5 kills. He's died 3 of the 8 times that KP have gotten a kill. So not really doing too well, but maybe with that Shadow Blade might be getting a bit more. They've only got 1 tower, but as does KP. The game moving at a fairly slow pace. And even though DD is not really trying to speed it up all that much, KP is going to be really happy with the slow pace, because we know that they like this kind of pace. They have set up for this kind of pace. They've got a Phantom Lancer, which is probably the best one for having a slow-paced game.
Yeah, Phantom Lancer definitely a hero that you like to have when the game is looking like it's going to go late, but Gyrocopter is farming pretty well. He's got the 2k net worth lead, and that's a pretty big advantage, and usually we're seeing Eternal Envy go into these sort of matches with a Midas up on his hero. He doesn't have a Midas this game, so he's not going to be able to just rely on that to try and farm. He's got to try and make something happen, either
Oh, wait a
farm
second.
very
Bone
efficiently.
7 in a bit of trouble, gets put out of the park so to try and help Silent. And I actually think they might have been able to kill him, but yeah, maybe with the blade mail there on Bone 7, they didn't really want to risk Silent killing himself right there. They are gathering up though. DD will have 5 people bottom right now. And they're gonna get forced top real soon, because Envy is pressuring in there with also not only his illusions, but also his real hero. Maxing Doppelblock. Extra save. Whoa, he's gonna get sent to base though. Or called rather. No, he can't. Keeper of Light, you can only call people that are not under attack. And that was not the case for Come With Me, as he was definitely under attack. They'll take a tier 2 in trade for their tier 1 middle, and maybe even in trade of their tier 2 bottom, because that is where MV is pushing, but they do have Silent TP in there to stop that from happening. But yeah, their tier 1 mid gone. Map control for KP.
Yeah, more towers just kind of being traded all over the place, but things looking good for DD at the moment. They're down by 2 kills, but those kills are kind of negligible when they have so many more creeps slain by this Gyrocopter. He's almost got his BKB done at this point, only like 200 gold off of it. It's going to be a pretty big pickup. We see a Mantis style picked up by Eternal Envy, which helps him quite a bit, but he isn't actually doing all that much damage in fights yet. It'll help with split pushing if he wants to go that route, but he can't. He hasn't had too much success with it thus far.
And with
Just
the
because
solutions, could have some more split pushing going. I mean, right now they can't probably really fight DD head on, even though that sounds kind of strange because there's a Magnus on KP, but split pushing is probably the one thing that he really wants to continue doing.
Yeah, he's going to continue pushing. It's just I don't think he'll actually be able to do too much damage to this tower quite yet. Especially not without max juxtapose because, like the stat said,
Yeah.
he went for the max doppelwalk build, which is a lot more defensive. Realistically, it lowers the mana cost and the cooldown so that you can actually use that more often.
Dire's middle tower.
We'll see how far he can push because he's gonna try to split push this again. Tier 1 tower on the mid lane looking to be taken down on the side of KP. Blinking lasso, where did he go? He got come with me. Torrent is gonna hit as well as the boat. Bone 7 already locked in. Fucking mad there as the RP got cancelled by Sing Sing. I still wanted to go for that up on these two here though, and he does get them. Both Goblak and Shockska and Silent in there. Can he get the kills? Rocket Barrage going through. Sing Sing running for his life with a DD rune on him as Pylai Die running from Funzy. Torrent is gonna miss, but this one hit might just do the job, unless he's gonna miss, because the Blinding Light is there. Train Protector still goes down, as Silent with the BKB turned on goes down as well. The Lance will also be there to kill off the Bat Rider, and that is 4 people down on the side of DD, with only 2 people dead on the side of KP, the Bone and the Magnus.
Yeah,
the Bone, the Magnus.
Sing, that was a great reverse polarity. He caught all 3 heroes from DD that were up near that tower. Unfortunately, they just didn't quite have enough follow-up to get them down. They were all very, very low. That's kind of the power of Boat again. They're just sitting there, and they're not really taking the damage. They couldn't quite burst them down. If Famlancer had been there a little bit earlier, maybe it would have been a different story. But they do eventually end up taking it. They take a little more losses than they might have needed to. But good fight for KP.
Yeah, for sure, and maybe also something working against them with the boat right now, as we talked about in the previous game that we saw at Kunkka. If the fight lasts too long, your rum is gonna wear off, and you're actually gonna start taking some extra damage, and that just helped KP. Everybody was very low on DD, of course, also after that RP. And then, then everybody just got cleaned up, as DD just stuck around for a bit too long there. And we even had Kunkka trying to chase down a Keeper of the Light, while he might have been able to help his own team, taking down more of KP there. Tier 1 tower not even taken down in return for that fight for DD, so a big loss for them as 4 heroes and no tower, and actually a denied mid tower now on the mid lane. Maybe Shockska can get something done though. He has got the blink once again in the 4 staff and the lasso obviously, but it looks like he's just gonna go check the rune. Or maybe go into the jungle. Yep, farm.
Is under attack.
Yeah, he's got about 2,600 gold up now on that Finalizing. Probably expecting to see Diffusal next, seems likely. He could go for Heart if he just really wants to get tanky right now. And it helps with his split pushing immensely to have that Heart, just because Gyrocopter otherwise kills his illusions way too fast. But not sure what he is going to want to decide. I think Diffuse is probably the better bet if he needs to be involved in these fights, and based on the last one, it looks like he probably does.
Yeah, with the 1 tier 1 tower left alive on the side of KP, we already see the pings coming off there from KP themselves. Defend that tier 1 tower top. So of course if that tower goes down, the lane will be pushed out even further in favor of DD, which means that split pushing isn't going to be as easy for Eternal Envy to really be doing there, even though right now he's actually doing well, and he is indeed building towards that Diffusal. And DD running towards that mid lane, again, trying to take down a tier 2 this time. As the Diffusal is ready, it looks like DD, they are forced bottom though. Are they gonna lose their tier 2? Hookshot in, Silent already stopped from TPing in. The 4 staff out from Bone 7, nicely done. Both also wasted because of that, the rum is there. But we're probably gonna see KP waiting until the rum is done and then try to go in. Positioning of DD doesn't really allow for a brilliant RP yet though. Torrent, Pylai Die in some trouble. Looks like he is going to be able to get away. There goes the RP, only up on Silent, with a Peace Grip up on Silent as well. Silent able to stay alive though, because the last 2 interrupts that one, and a stolen RP up on 2. Cooldown coming down, up on 3, come with me. He gets a brain step out of Goblak, able to keep himself up. Dodges the Torrent with a brilliant Nightmare there. Illuminate will hit on 2 there as well, as Funzy will be reduced in his attack power by that Enfeeble. Come with me, playing amazingly well on that Bane right now, as Funzy should be able to run away from that nice dodge there, and maybe Shockska gonna be also a bit lucky. He doesn't have mana to blink though. He's gonna run right into Come With Me, and that should be a kill going the way of KP. Indeed, Pylai Die picks it up in the end. That's the only one that went down together with the Clockwork, with the Gyrocopter, because Bone was still able to send a flare after where Silent was. So Silent did end up going down, and actually bought back.
Yeah, that was an insane fight from both sides. It was so back and forth. Just like individual scale coming out from players turning the tide of the fight repeatedly. It ends up KP come out a little bit ahead. They get those 2 kills. They force the buyback out on Gyrocopter, which is probably a little aggressive from Silent. He doesn't even get that tower in the top lane, which I think is what his target was with that buyback, since it was a little unimaginable he was going to make it to the fight in a relevant time frame again. But things looking good for KP right now, up by 6 kills.
Yeah, the gold graph was in favor of DD for a while, with all these towers, of course, also going down, but it was only 4k, and that's now back towards the 0 line. Experience graph looking the same, was in favor of DD, but now also going back towards that 0 line. In the meantime, Eternal Envy was able to take down a tower and did get the gold for that, as well as we only have 2 towers left standing on the side of DD. 3 towers standing still on the side of KP, so only 1 tower difference right now. And it looks like these illusions, they'll just continue to push right now. And since he's done on the top lane, he can actually just rotate bottom and top right now and maybe try to get some damage into a tier 3 with the next time that DD tries to find a fight. And with, of course, the Keeper of the Light there, you can actually try to just get that extra push in before you recall your Phantom Lancer into the fight to try and take the fight. So really nicely done by KP, and yeah, just very impressive play in that fight by Come With Me. Really, really, like you said, individual skill showing through right there.
Yeah, and now Phantom Lancer has 3,300, 3,400 gold, so probably expecting to see the heart come up next from him. Could also go for Butterfly if he wants to. It's certainly a powerful item here as well. I feel like heart is probably going to be his first choice. And gonna get close to it in the near future, and these illusions gonna start becoming an issue for DD. They really can't afford to be falling behind here. They are up against Phantom Lancer, and I'm sure they're aware of it. But it's going to become harder and harder as time goes on, unless they can get some fights here. And it looks like top lane's where they're going to start.
Yeah, Keeper of the Light. He actually TP'd from tier 1 to tier 2 to try and keep himself safe, but then walked back in the hands of the invisible Godlike and did end up going down. But they do trade a tier 1 for a tier 2, which is not really that big of a deal for KP. They just opened the map up to split push more, and I say 1 tier 2, they are also getting almost a second tier 2 out of it. Silent will be able to clean out those illusions and creeps, but this is a very low tier 2 tower, and the split pushing coming off from KP, you cannot underestimate that Phantom Lancer at all, because soon with the heart, which we are indeed expecting from Eternal Envy, his illusions will also be so tanky that you can't just clear them out that fast, and your towers are gonna go down sooner or later.
Yeah, once this heart's up, it's going to be kind of very, very troublesome. Damage is what Gyrocopter's going to need. He's going for he's got the Eagle Song picked up, which means he's going for BKB, or Butterfly, excuse me. He'll have that in the near future, like 1,400 gold off of it at this point. He can pick that up, and it'll give him some more damage, some more attack speed to try and clear off these illusions. But Phantom Lancer has now taken the lead in CS, and Net Worth doing the same. So Silent just not being able to keep up, and if Eternal Envy keeps farming this way, he's going to get too big to really deal with very, very soon.
Yeah, we do have Buta Truffle up on Shokska so that he can maybe counter push a bit better with that. We also have Funzy with the Crystallis. But you're right, they can't hold on like this for a very long time. They have to just keep the pressure on to make sure that there is no space to split push. There is no space to really try to go for anything in return. But they can't really find those fights. And it's, of course, I mean, it's very difficult to try and find a good team fight if you know that you're gonna be walking into an RP on the other side. That now, by the way, that Magnus has got that BKB ready, so it will be even harder to get under control. But they do take down the tier 2 middle, and towers are once again even with a tier 2 tower standing on both sides. Maybe with a Roshan things might change, but neither team really has tried to go for it yet.
Yeah, and actually, people in chat talking. The top lane, the tier 3's down. That's why Silent bought back in that fight.
Ooh.
Eternal Envy pushed down that tier 3 in the top lane.
My bad.
So we're sitting there trying to watch what's going on in this very, very long, extended fight where people are like outplaying each other constantly. But Eternal Envy is just like, yeah, whatever, my team's got this. And he took a tier 3.
Yeah, and he actually is not going for a heart. He is going for an Eagle Song, so more damage for his illusions. Of course, as well as a bit of evasion, which will help out a lot. As a Blink Dagger, the most popular non-boost item up on Rubik. 29%. That's actually not that many, 29. Oh, Butterfly done also up on the Gyro though. And at the same time, Butterfly up on Eternal Envy. Neither has got that MKB though. They'll have to hit through it. And of course that's going to be a lot more easy for Phantom Lancer to do because he's more. Oh, look at those illusions. Fucking mad. He has a rough illusion. He might actually die. Whoa. Hook shot. Missed. Bone 7 tried to go for it. Didn't get it. Godlike getting an enfeeble. This is just KP forcing DD outside of their own jungle. Thou shall not be in your jungle to try and farm. And this is DD realizing the state of the game right now. They need to play it careful. They need to kill off Envy before doing anything else. And it's so tough to do that right now.
Yeah, he's getting bigger and bigger. He did go for the butterfly first. Like I said, you can make arguments either way. I think I prefer the heart, but I could see the argument for picking up butterfly. It gives your illusions a lot more damage. It gives you more damage. That Magnus with the empower going to also even give more damage with that. And it does also gives you some survivability. It doesn't make your illusions quite as resilient to the flat cannon as maybe a heart would. But if he's just worried about split pushing, this is definitely the better choice.
Yeah, you see KP, their control. They are just pushing out and just locking DD down in the mid lane right now. Top lane is not a safe place to be because Phantom Lancer would be there. Bottom lane, you can't be there because you can get ganked from the sideline. So they're all sitting around this mid lane. And KP, they're just abusing the fact now. They're not even trying to go on it. They're just abusing their strength of this game and just making sure that with it, even though they're not trying to fight, they're still in a way getting something out of their being ahead in this game, just making sure that DD can't really farm. They only have one lane to really farm in right now, and they have and a Kunkka and a Gyro, and you can only get farm up on one of the two.
It's true, and we're gonna see what they're gonna have to do about it. Like as it stands now, Silent is just falling further and further behind the Phantom Lancer. And he's trying his best to keep up in farm, but even if he does go even, Phantom Lancer is eventually going to get to the point where he's just going to push down your buildings and ignore you with the illusions.
Yeah, the way that the Phantom Lancer works, I mean, even if he would get ahead right now, I mean, the split push potential is still definitely there. Of course, sure, you can take a fight if you're DD, and KP might actually lose that team fight, but Phantom Lancer, he'll at some point get boots of travel, and you know, while you're not watching, your lane is gonna get pushed in. He'll TP in there, and he'll take your racks before you can say boo or blah. And that's just the way of the Phantom Lancer. As we are gonna see an RP actually used up on Funzy. The score misses though, but they do have the Gem of True Sight, so they will see Funzy. He's trying to run the mana. Ooh, actually, nice telekinesis to interrupt that Fiend's Grip. Brain Sap's still gonna be there. It is Sing Sing that is looking for something right now. Cooldown coming down, and it is Clockwork that goes down first. Chokska very low on life. Nightmare up on Goblet can't really help his team now either, and the Gem drops as they take down Come With Me. Gyrocopter still getting the kill for that one. In this fight, there was no Phantom Lancer really that involved. I mean, he ran from the fight rather than doing anything else as Sing Sing screws himself into safety. Maybe with this fight, DD can take a Roshan, and with that, they might be able to go high ground even. But at the same time, I mean, the top lane is still pushing out, and there is now boots of travel up on that Phantom Lancer. He just got 2 boots because he's got 2 feet, obviously.
Yeah, you need a boot for each foot.
Yeah.
He's porting immediately to the top lane to split push. They know what they're doing. It's got to be Roshan. Roshan at about half HP. They should be able to get down before Tonami really gets near the barracks, but this will force DD to stop with just taking the Roshan without being able to try and push another lane out. And that was a really awkward fight from KP. Sing Sing gets the RP on only Kunkka. They don't manage to kill him. Like, no one else is really close enough in range. He misses the skewer kind of inexplicably, and then they keep chasing. And once they missed the initiation, like the initiation fails, they could have gotten out clean without only just like wasting like the RP cooldown. It sucks to waste it, but it would have been fine. Now they wasted the RP cooldown, and they gave up 2 kills, and they gave up Roshan. It kind of just compounds the error when you try and force something after you kind of make a mistake.
Yeah, and you know, tribute to that, Phantom Lancer, he just ran. Maybe if he was in a fight, they would have a better chance, but no, he just ran after he realized that the RP missed and that there was an attempt on kills for DD. He just made sure he didn't die. He actually picked up his 2nd level of Diffusal, so a bit of extra damage to his name. I mean, I don't know. I think that if he was joining that fight, they might have been able to win that. Butterfly versus Butterfly, but you have got all those illusions to help you out as well. I don't know. He's playing really defensive, which we know that he does, obviously.
Yeah, and it's probably the right call here. They're going late game, and Fan Lancer is pretty big. They have the Magnus on their side, which is obviously always a very powerful herald to have in the late game. And power is going to be there on the Fan Lancer. He has such a high agility growth that it gives him even more damage because his base damage is just so high. And we see he's already doing like 400 damage a hit on his main hero. That's kind of insane. We're only 40 minutes in the game and he doesn't really have like something big damage item like an MKB or anything.
No, just Butterfly. And of course the Diffusal Blade. Don't underestimate the damage there. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it will get worse for DD. Not better. DD, by the way, we see Gyro. He bought something. What's in the courier? That's a hard ready. Satanic, rather.
Satanic, yeah, not hard.
Yeah.
So he'll have, that's gonna be a pretty big game for him. They don't have a lot of lockdown for him. If they have to like initiate with the RP, they can't really hope to lock down Silent. He can try and regen all of his HP if he doesn't go down with the Satanic. The only exception to that is if a good Fiend's Grip comes out and come with me. It's really hard to land Fiend's Grip for like an extended duration in the midst of a team fight for Bane.
Oh, wait a second, they're gonna try to kill off Envy, but do they have enough shutdown? They already used the telekinesis. There comes the overgrowth, but he is able to just run with that one. Diffusal Blade, of course, yeah, purging it off him. And then that's the downside. You have to have that lasso there, and Funzy, he was, or rather Shoksuke, he wasn't close. He was actually getting away from the top lane. He was forced to TP out. Almost got hit by the hook from Bone 7, which was spot on because of the flare, of course, that he sent there. But because of that, he wasn't in range. And I think that if Shoksuke was there, they could have killed off Envy, perhaps. I say perhaps because he still was very survivable.
They would have at least stood a better chance. I think they were kind of relying on overgrowth, and they didn't think he would diffusal himself, I guess. But he obviously did diffuse himself and just walked away. Batrider getting a BKB is kind of a big deal as well. Will help to try and pull Eternal Envy way out of these fights. But it's really hard. It's kind of a side effect of Phantom Lancer. It's very difficult to actually catch the real one. You have to wait until you can figure out which one's real in this horde of illusions before you can actually initiate.
Let's see. 95 damage apiece. Well, let's see then. Rubik. He is only he needs about 12 hits and he's dead.
Yeah, and fortunately Phantom Lancer can spawn more illusions. He can spawn that many illusions effectively. He can make 10.
He can just one-shot and VVS everything up. With his own hero hitting him as well, obviously. He doesn't even need everything then. I mean,
that's pretty bad.
Pretty bad, yeah. And of course, buyback is going to be really important from the next fight, if there's going to be a next fight before the next Roshan, because right now it doesn't look like DD really wants to try and force it out without finding someone first. I mean, they kind of, if they want to still go in, they need to catch someone with the Batrider and then make sure they go in 4-on-5 and then win a fight and then go high ground. And that's really tough to do right now. So we see them also sticking together just in case there's going to be a fight. They're going to make sure that they want it. They're going to be able to take it, but I mean, next fight, if it happens, buyback is going to be important, and both Envy and Silent have got that buyback ready, with also two supports of either team having the buyback, but the rest not really having buyback. So, for example, if Batrider would die without casting his lasso, he would actually not be able to buy back. Same thing goes for the Magnus. If he dies without casting an RP, he would not be able to buy back, but he would be able to cast 2 RPs soon, because he's about 200 gold away from his refresher, and that would be just as important. And he has a BKB for survivability, so in theory he shouldn't die, I guess.
Even if the BKB is even bigger, not just because of the not dying aspect, but for the positioning aspect. You can hold the RP as a result of this and try to get the best RP possible. And it looks like they're just going to take top tier 2, and KP not even trying to contest, and it's because the Aegis is still up. On the gyrocopter, in the meantime, Eternal Envy just going to split push bottom lane. He has the boots of travel and the recall, of course, from the Keeper of Light, so no big deal. Refresher finished on Magnus.
Big deal.
Setting up for these, they're setting up for the big fight that's going to happen, and the tier 3 looks like it's the target in the top lane for DD. I don't think they can go for this.
They can't, no, they have to TP back, because look at this tower already taking not so much damage, but these illusions will make sure that the tower takes damage. There is still a fortification, but look at that. And with, you know, yeah. That's the fortification a bit too late, I think. I mean, that was a bit of a wasted fortification, but hey, they have got this Treant Protector. He can heal that tower up again, I guess. It's okay.
Yeah, he's going to try his best. I think they were holding the fortification as long as possible because they just really didn't want to use it. Having that fortification down makes them much more vulnerable to Phantom Lancer pushing the top lane and just taking a set of racks. Having the fortifications like a stop this button gives them time to teleport back in and try and kill off the illusions in time. So we'll see what they're going to do. Aegis is reclaimed now. Yeah, it is up.
Yep.
So he picks up a Demon Edge for some more damage, probably getting the MKB just to counteract that Butterfly.
Yeah.
From Finalizing.
Yeah, and fucking man just, you know, expressing his joy that he is in such a nice, fun game such as this. To be fair, I mean, I normally I kind of appreciate long games, especially if you have got those like big ass team fights that will happen at some point. The thing is, KP with the Phantom Lancer pickup, you don't necessarily want those big team fights because you have, of course, always a chance of losing them, while you could just split push instead and get victory in the end. So I mean, I get where fucking Matt is coming from, to be fair, but I'm still hoping for some epic team fights to come. But for now, I think we're gonna see both teams waiting until there's another Aegis on the board.
Yeah, they'll either wait for Aegis or someone will try and like poke at the defenses of the other side and find that they pushed a little too hard and they end up getting hit. And if someone throws a big team fight, especially if it's DD, they're going to be way on the back foot and Fanlancer will punish that. So I expect DD to play very, very passive here and KP to be trying to farm somewhat aggressively, as we kind of see their position right now with Fanlancer like in the rain jungle, trying to make sure that they can get as much of an advantage out of this sort of a waiting period for the next 3.5, 4 minutes for that Roshan to respawn.
Yeah, we do have, because of course since there's a pause, I have some extra eyes on the chat. Pointing out that maybe Magnus doesn't have enough mana to RP twice, but he can use his boots twice with that refresh orb. And of course on top of that there is a Keeper of the Light on the side of KP who can just replenish the mana that Sing Sing lost using his first RP, of course providing that Keeper of Light is still alive, because when there is a Kunkka with a Daedalus there, you cannot really count on that because that splash is enormous.
Yeah, and he has enough to just ult twice with the refresher if he does nothing else, which is like that's pretty much never going to happen. But again, yeah, Chakra Magic, Arcane Boots on himself, I think Arcane Boots on Bane. He'll have enough mana to use the ult twice.
Yeah, as there's now is a hard up on Eternal Envy, so if he wasn't hard enough to kill before, he is definitely hard enough to kill now, as he's gonna get recalled to the jungle to continue his farming there. Actually gets himself some Empower before he goes, so more farming power. And there are some nice words there from DD. They realize that they need to stop Envy from farming, and they are actually smoking up. They already have got their Bedrider hanging, or sorry, Gyrocopter hanging around there. That Bedrider though is on the bottom lane. He will TP with Boot to travel towards the top lane. There we have it. They will just need to find the real one, and they do find him now. The Mantis Stallion popped. He goes on Godlike. The Overgrowth is there. Is the Bedrider gonna be in time? He blinks. He lassos, but he only gets the Magnus. The cooldown comes down. There's the RP up on Jolene and on Silence as well. Another RP on those two BKB targets, and by the time they're out, those BKBs will have ended. In the meantime, Kunkka goes down on the other end of the fight. The Silent can't really do that much. The Enfeeble is there, and now here comes Envy. Comes back for the Gyrocopter. This is a man fight that you cannot win right now, and that's a triple kill for Envy, as there's 3 people down for DD. This could be an opening that KP would have waited for, wanting to take down that tier 2 tower that's still sitting in the mid lane, and wow, that's not the fight that DD was hoping for.
And Sing Sing, absolutely beautiful RP, catches the 2 most important heroes, the Batrider and the Gyrocopter, times it well to get the second RP off, and after that point, Bone catches them in cogs. They're locked down for like 20 seconds there.
Their entire BKB duration, which was, I believe, well, for Silent it wasn't the first BKB charge. For Batrider it was. I mean, it was just completely wasted. They couldn't do anything, and then even after they came out, as Eternal Envy is just crashing through the base, of course going to the place where there was no tier 3 tower standing anymore. It looks like that one. There's illusions.
Yes. Got it.
They got it, indeed. Secured. But yeah, I mean, even Silent, when he got back out, he couldn't do anything because he had that Enfeeble up on him, and he didn't stand a chance with man fighting Envy there. I mean, the lucky thing is that there were 2 people from DD that were still able to get away from that. But yeah, KP being ready for what was to come. They were all there, as was DD, of course, but they were kind of expecting they didn't have to deal with the rest of KP.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying before we went into that fight. I was really expecting DD to play a little bit more passive, but they might have been just feeling that they had to go for it to try and win this game. They had to try and take a fight. They couldn't afford to wait for Roshan up and center the fight there, because then, of course, reverse polarity is a really terrifying ability when you're all sitting in a Roche pit. So they end up going for it. They lose that big fight, and now before they were feeling like they were pretty far behind, even though they were actually ahead in both Golden Experience, but Phantom Lancer is holding all the cards.
Yeah.
And now they're sort of losing their advantage, and Phantom Lancer still has everything.
And there was a Fiend Script up on Funzy. Funzy in a lot of trouble because here comes the hook shot and maybe the RP if they want to go for it. He doesn't actually need it. He tries to TP, won't be able to do it, and that is Sing Sing on a killing spree. But taking the kill there. I mean, Roshan is back up again. KP could try to go for it, but it looks like they just want to barrel through mid and just try to end it, as there is now also a basher up for the Phantom Lancer. He probably will drop one of the boots for that. Woo. Courier bringing that one towards him, and that will basically render the gyrocopter completely useless.
Yeah, there's no reason for them to go for Roshan here. It's super passive for them to do it. Like if they felt they weren't far ahead, but with how big Envy is, and they know that the buyback is on cooldown for gyrocopter, this is the exact time they want to force a fight. There's no Kunkka, so they're not gonna have a boat. They're not gonna have the rum to worry about.
Oh, hook shot. Hits up a fucking Mad, but it doesn't look like they really need that kind of fight. They already did take the two Rex down without really, you know, they can't do anything against those incredibly beefy illusions from Eternal Envy.
Yeah, he just took a set of racks. They went mid to defend because that's where the push was coming from, and then Eternal Envy was like, "Nope, I'm bottom," and just killed them, like whole lane before they could react. And now they'll take Roshan, and they'll get that for free as well. Abyssal Blade picked up by Phantom Lancer. He does 258 plus 297 damage without Empower, or no, he's with Empower. So he's doing 600-ish damage right now on his main hero.
And then that's why they don't need to give him the Aegis. One, he doesn't have an inventory slot for that. And of course, you know, he wouldn't die even if he had. So they put it up on the Magnus. He is going to be the one to go in first. This is only the 4th time an Abyssal Blade is picked up by that Phantom Lancer. Normally not really an item that you would really need / want. You'd go for an MKB maybe, but no, Abyssal is what he wants. With 2 sets of Rex down, DD. What can they possibly still hope to do then? What do you expect them, or what do you suggest for them to do?
They have to take. They have to force a big fight, and they have to take it. And it's not going to be a clean fight. It's not. It's going to be a very, very ugly fight. But they have to try and win it, and they have to throw everything they have at it. Because this time, it's for their last set of racks, and if they don't take Phantom Lancer down, Illusion's just going to kill the buildings and not even care about the heroes.
Yeah, and here comes KP again. Illusions already bashing on the tier 3. KP, they don't even have to go in to make mega creeps by the looks of it. I mean, they have got another Manta Style in 20 seconds. I mean, worst comes to worst, they just pop the Manta Styles, send them on the creep wave, create some illusions, and send them on towards those tower. Look, the Doppelwalk illusion, that's why I picked it up.
Yeah, just need to be able to summon an extra illusion.
Yeah, more illusions, better. More stronger illusion. Oh, maybe. No, he wanted to try a lasso, wasn't really sure if it was the right one, so decided against it. Hook shot in, hits upon Godlike, boat will sail into the RP in the meantime as Silent and Funzy are sitting there. There goes a refresher. Maybe he can get a 1-on-2. No, he gets an overgrowth. There goes 1-up-on-2 still though. Godlike and Silent there. Funzy trying to do what he can. It's a Fiend Script from fucking Mad helping out. Hook shot back in. They defend nothing though, because Eternal Envy, he doesn't care about heroes. Oh my god, he might actually die. He does go down. Unstoppable Streak. They continue to have a ranged Rex, but the buyback is there. They kill off a lot of heroes on the side of KP, but they don't stop their Rex from falling. And this is looking pretty painful right now.
Yeah, Eternal Envy was so close to having that ranged barracks down.
Yeah.
And if he does, that's like the end of the game. But they managed to defend it, so they have like a little thread of hope. It's not a large thread, and it's probably not actually anything at all, but it's still a thread. They could still come back from this.
I like your positive attitude, but I don't know, I see these.
How much money does
multiply.
Gyrocopter have? Oh god, Gyro doesn't have anywhere near enough
No,
money. He needs a rapier.
He needs a rapier. But, I mean, right now, even with the Enfeebled, I don't think they would kill off those illusions fast enough to really survive there. And I kind of think like if Envy was just by himself, went towards the middle lane, took some illusions, and with the next creep wave that will come in, and sent them on the racks, DD won't be able to heal them up or to kill them off before they are able to take down those ranged racks. I mean, this is the ranged racks we're talking about, not even the melee ones. This one only has 5 armor instead of 15 that the melee racks has. And of course you've got that living armor to help out, but really, how much does that really do against an army of these incredibly fat illusions that you have?
Yeah, it does nothing, is really what it comes down to. Is Glyph off cooldown? Glyph's off cooldown. I don't know if it was that whole fight and they just didn't use it. I can't imagine they just didn't use Glyph. They have Glyph so they can try and defend from one wave of the creeps or illusions, but that doesn't save them from 2.
It's surprising that they didn't use Glyph, as you pointed out. I mean, they might have been able to save their melee racks. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not. I have to imagine it wasn't off cooldown during that fight and it just came up or something.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, that's like huge misplays that could have been game changing. If they defend and they hold to like the tier 3 still up, if only a little bit of health, they have Tree on their team. That's a very big difference.
Yeah, we see KP there already claiming the jungle once again as theirs. Maybe trying to go in on the bottom lane and just let the creeps push out the mid lane. Here come some illusions though. Let's see what they can do. They're trying now. They will be able to take them down. But yeah, this is not gonna be pretty. DD, they are still holding on and you know, valiantly so. But yeah, we all know what a Phantom Lancer can do. I mean, that's the problem. Can they actually stop that from happening? Is the question.
Well, Eternal Envy doesn't have buyback right now, so that's like something. Maybe KP are gonna wait for that, and then he can just force it very easily. The rapier is not really realistically close for Gyro Recovery. He's still like 4,000 gold off, a little bit less than 3,500. But that's pretty far off. That's several minutes, and we only have 2 minutes left on the buyback cooldown. And they don't need to fight. Like if Eternal Envy has buyback, he can just go and like suicide the racks to take it down.
Yeah, he doesn't even need his team. You're right. I mean, they could just try and go. And I mean, he's fed enough to be taking a long time to take down if they actually have all their effort up on him. The only thing he has to worry about is the last 2, of course, but even that he will survive. And
they're just kind of taking it passive. How long do we have on Roshan? 4.5 minutes?
Yeah,
that's a really long time, I think,
it.
for them to wait.
Yeah.
I don't think I would wait for that if I were KP right now, but...
I mean, if KP would lose a fight right now, they would still not lose the game, right?
It's hard... It's unlikely they would lose the game, but when you start getting towards the 60-minute mark, I mean, they don't have outer towers. They have the tier 3s up in every lane, but they don't have outer towers. Crazy things can happen, and I wouldn't think they'd lose this game. They've had buybacks on a couple, like several of their heroes, not the Fan Lancer, but like everyone else. So they probably don't go down.
Well, they're going to try right now. We have all lanes pushing in, so top and bottom also pushing in. Will be something that DD will have to deal with. And Envy can just TP himself towards a different lane if he wants to try there. And yeah, we're gonna see how they're gonna be dealing with this.
Yeah, it's just sort of it's gonna be like a suffocation type game at this point, I think.
Yeah.
Where they're just sitting there and they're gonna keep the pressure on them, and eventually DD, they're probably either gonna slip or something will they'll just slowly get kind of pushed out of the game because they're not really getting that much farm, even though all these creep waves are pushing into their base, because all these creeps give half gold.
Yeah,
there's the initiation actually.
Yeah, hits upon Silent, but Bone Force stops himself out. Oh, last 2 up on Bone. In the meantime, Phantom Lancer though, he already killed off Godlike, and he already now also took down Funds, even though the RP got stolen. Silent will still go down. There's an RP casted by fucking Mad, but there's no follow-up damage there because the Gyro already went down. Chokescar running himself away, flying himself away with the BKB on his Bone, hits himself another hook, but this is the ranged Rex gone. This is Mega Creeps for KP, and nobody dead on their side, or even showing signs of battle apart from that Magnus. Magnus will try to score a BKB target, won't be able to do it, but Silent will go down for the 2nd time this fight as he already bought back earlier on, and I think this is gonna be the killing blow. If it would be very surprised if it wasn't. Oh, Bone, why are you doing that? Oh, that's why. Can just kill people inside their own fountain. That's all fine. Fucking Mad will be there. Oh, there is Jolene back. Need to deal with that illusion. Oh, Envy. That's the wrong one.
Yeah, he doppel walked and the Bat Rider took the illusion. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, ultra kill going the way of KP. Shout out to G's apparently. GG's got cold. DD lose themselves their 5th game in StarLadder Season 6. We have got KP winning themselves another game though with the Phantom Lancer. In the end, very convincing. The choke point was of course there. We've got DD sitting on a 4 to 5 game streak, if you're gonna call it that way. 9 games played, 4 games won, 5 games lost, and KP now on 4 to 3. So getting themselves a bit ahead in terms of point, as it all of course is going towards that point of to try and get towards the top 4 of StarLadder Season 6. This was day number 17. We're going to be having day number 18 tomorrow with 7 games. But for now, we are done with StarLadder. And of course, thank you for being here to all the viewers. Of course, also thank you for being here, K-poptosis, who was our statman for the entire day. So shout out to him. Of course, also shout out to Kanaz, who's been with me as my co-caster for the entire day as well. Any shout outs for yourself?
No shoutouts, but if you like my casting, follow me on twitch.tv/Kanazda or on Twitter at KanazDota.
That's it? No
That's
plugs?
it.
Okay, well,
That's
that's
no plugs
fine.
for me.
That's fine. Well, I will... Yeah, KanazDota on Twitter. Of course, you can also follow K-poptosis on Twitter without the hyphen. That's his Twitter name. And SheeverGaming on Twitter as well, as I am Sheever. And you can also check out my website, SheeverGaming.com. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you want to continue watching... thank you. Shout out to Dead Dota for sick data. That's, by the way, where K-poptosis gets all his data from, if you're wondering that. But yeah, if you want to continue watching competitive Dota, I think that the D2L has got a matchup between Liquid and EG at the moment, but I actually saw in the chat something about maybe it's already being over because it was very fast, but I'm hoping for you that you can still continue watching some competitive Dota, as otherwise you're going to be maybe stuck here, which would be not that high level Dota, as I might play some games, but we'll see about that. Anyways, thank you for being here, and of course, have a good night.